This guy, John Doerr from Kleiner Perkins, he says, ideas are important, but execution is everything. I have a high respect for John. He started in Bay Area, I think in Intel, and then he joined Kleiner Perkins. Kleiner Perkins is probably regarded as one of the top technology VC firms in the world, or in the US at least. So John Doerr, he personally involved in the creation of many of the well-known companies, like Amazon, Sun Microsystems, Netscape, Intuit, Symantec. These are the technology companies, and more recently, Amazon and Google. So he's regarded as one of the top technology VC in the US. So I'm moving on to the next big principle, I believe, is the focus. Again, what I mean by focus, there are two things: what to focus and how to focus. What I really mean is, as a startup company, you want to do one thing better than anyone else. Of course, you want to choose the right thing. The core business. Then, in order to do that, you need to come up with, you need to identify the drivers for your business. This is getting to a little more details, which I cannot really elaborate. Usually, we're talking about operation drivers, like how you're going to evaluate your market share. What's your drivers for your top line, which is the revenue or the output? What's the driver for the bottom line? Okay, these are the things Baidu, from very early stage, we have been implementing this driver analysis, and we constantly monitoring. And that's why when we went to the IPO stage, we have a very high predictability in terms of our future quarters, in terms of the financial performance. So these are the things, as a founder, you should start getting these ideas from the very beginning, or at least at a certain stage of your startup development. And then throughout the course of this startup course, you have to be staying on focus. Now, how to do that? I think one thing is to be able to really say no to big opportunities. I'll give you an example. In Baidu's case, we were at one time, I think in 2003, 2002, we were building up this market share. So we have a lot of search traffic. At that time, there are different models evolving. For example, there are, with your traffic, you can do SP business. You can do social network. And you can do, other things. Our board has asked us to try. And we actually turned down many business. And we even shut down one search-related business, which is the enterprise search. Now, Baidu is mainly a consumer brand, right? But once upon a time, we had a line of business that we served enterprises, their internal websites. We provide a search solution. We even cut that down. We actually shut the business down in order to really have the focus. Because in our mind, we have a vision that search is so critical to internet that given the China's market growth, if we maintain and grow our search market share, given our keyword-based advertising model, the company is growing at a faster speed than any other potential acquisition or any other business. And it turned out to be true. This is another book, a wonderful book by James Collins. Said the book name is Good to Great. Focus on what you can potentially do better than any other organization, and this is the only path to greatness. Now, James Collins was talking about enterprises evolving. Okay, it's not only the startup, because he has done some systematic studies, but this is his key conclusion. I think it also applies to startups. The last thing probably I can talk about, one of the last things, is the capital. Regarding the capital, it's kind of a simple, but I think capital is critical for startup to become successful. In Baidu's case, we closed our Series B right before the tech bubble burst, and that $10 million really carried us running through different business models, and eventually we found the one that really worked. So my suggestions would be never run out of cash, raise money wisely. And the third point is also, to me, I think is very critical. I believe in conservative spending. So no matter how much money you raise, as a matter of fact, in 2000 when we raised 10 million, the Series B, we did not even want to mention it in the public. The reason is there are many companies that are raising 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollar financing. So 10 million is really nothing. But eventually we found many of those companies with a big fundraising success, they eventually vanished. They just spent all of their money. So someone said the size of a CEO's office in a startup is inversely proportional to the chance of success of the company. We actually learned this later, and then we gradually we did a reflection. So when we started in China, we really didn't know a lot. Me and Robin, we were in the States for 10 years before we moved back to China. So one thing is, we learned, one of the stories, we were trying to rent all these offices. And I asked our friends, asked my father to look for an office space. And this is an office building next to Beida, Peking University, which we really like. And they say, there are 2 offices you can have because all the other offices are occupied. I said, okay, the rental is okay, then we move in. And then I realized the office, the number, the room number is 1414. So the other one is 1417. So 1414. So then I realized that's why those 2 office rooms are always empty. But I guess now people thinking, as long as you do something fundamentally well, you still get a chance. I think those rooms are easy to be rented out. One last important thing I want to touch on is the independent growth. This is more towards a startup. Because I think another speaker also mentioned the same point. Never count on others for your success. By that I mean you can have a collaboration. You should have collaboration. However, in the bottom of your heart, you have to tell yourself you are responsible for the long-term and the bigger success of the company. This is so true. I cannot really elaborate. The second point is organic growth versus M&A. I personally believe as a startup, you should go for organic growth. There are M&A opportunities. So far, if you look at Baidu, we have never done any official announcement for any M&A, major M&A. It's not that we're not looking for opportunities for acquisition. It's that we believe in organic growth. We believe we find a good market, that we can grow with the market, and we maintain the market leadership. And for M&A, there are many, many issues. The integration, the culture, many things. And if you're really going into the MBA courses and management books, you will find out. I personally believe there are more failures than success. So in summary, in order to build a sustainable, long-term competitive advantages for startups, I believe a lot of these principles also work for growing enterprises. You have to be having a mentality of competency in multiple areas. I think this is very important. Effective company culture, focus and achieve market leadership, handling financing and money intelligently, and grow independently. So once again, it's a pleasure to be here to share with people what I've learned over the years. And I really sincerely look forward to the people in Singapore, our next generation of leadership, innovation, productivity, and of course, the new generation of jobs and new wealth. Thank you very much.
Let's thank Dr. Eric.